Okay, we should be good now. Sorry about that. Audio is fixed.
All right.
Thank you, Rod. So, anyway, how's everyone doing? Uh, should be good now, right, Rod? Anyway,
Thanks, Rod.
yeah. So Thor here, and
I'm Shannon.
the intro track was "Quarters of Time" by from the game Chrono Trigger. It's one of the best Super Nintendo games and soundtracks out there. I was just saying that I wish I brought the vinyl down. I have that in vinyl. It's one of my favorite soundtracks ever, and definitely recommend listening to if you aren't familiar with it.
And I was saying I'm going to have to brush up and do some remixing because that would make a cool remix.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of music that pulls you in. It's really impressive. That's a Super Nintendo soundtrack too. The guy that made it, what's interesting is he was like a sound engineer and he was going to quit Squaresoft unless they made him the sound director. So he got the gig, and it's like a dream gig because Chrono Trigger had some of the best names from Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, and the guy that drew Dragon Ball Z was on it too, Akira Toriyama. So it's like a dream project, and it's just awesome how that all came together. And anyway,
Very
Rod,
cool.
how you doing tonight?
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for checking it out.
Our beer of the week.
Our beer of the
Gonna
week
talk about that?
is from Treehouse. It's Julius. It's an IPA. It's a very tasty IPA. My pours suck though, so usually I'm a lot better at that. So I'm a little disappointed in myself, but at least we got that going for us. And so what's new with you, Shannon?
Well, my contribution for the evening was, since we just celebrated Friday the 13th, I brought Friday the 13th ice cream. I found that today. Camp Crystal Cake. It is birthday cake ice cream with a strawberry bloody swirl.
Got to be bloody for the J man.
He wouldn't have it any other way.
And we do have a lot of Friday the 13th stuff. And I did something fun last night, but I'll save it for when we talk about Friday the 13th later. Hope everyone had a good Friday the 13th and a good Saturday so far. But we're gonna start off with talking about Sony Bend here. So there's mass layoffs at the Days Gone studio, Sony Bend. They've been around for a while, Sony Bend. They've made a lot of the Siphon Filter games you'll remember from like PS1 days.
I remember those.
Yeah, they were really good games, and then they made a pretty decent zombie game. I mean, it wasn't anything amazing, but definitely fun, worth a playthrough. They released a remaster recently, but they canceled the live service project and mass layoffs at Sony Bend. Earlier in the week, Bloomberg reported that Sony Bend were taken away with about 40 people following the unannounced live service game earlier this year being canceled. The social media account acknowledged the layoffs. They weren't sharing exact numbers, but the number has been confirmed to be 40. They recommend committing to the future of the studio. And that's the problem is Sony's kind of gone on a live service focus, and Helldivers is really good, and that's a game worth playing. But everything else is kind of blown up in their face, and I feel like everyone tried to make the next Fortnite, and it's impossible to, keep that going and do it all. Like, there's only so many Fortnites, and it's just such a saturated market.
Yeah, it seems like everybody wants to do like a reiteration of the same thing, and it's always good to switch it up and do
I know
something different.
it's really cool that Fortnite made Epic so much money, but they were working on a new Unreal tournament that was like community backed, and that cancel got scrapped because of it. Unfortunately,
I know. I remember hearing about that. I was very upset. That's one of my favorite games ever.
So yeah, earlier this year, Bend Studio wrapped development on a live service concept. After careful consideration, they chose not to move forward with it as his team switched focus to the next project. Days Gone's actually in the same universe as Siphon Filter. It's been confirmed, which is kind of cool. I'm not a big Siphon Filter fan, but I know there's like some like virus or something that breaks out, and hopefully they can make a new Siphon Filter or something, go back to basics. They did want to do a Days Gone too, but that Days Gone didn't do well enough, unfortunately. But that's just the state of the industry kind of sucks right now.
It does suck.
So a new game launched this week called Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye is not very good at all, unfortunately. It's got one of the guys behind, I believe I think one of the developers was from one of the leads from Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe. But disastrous Mind's Eye launch plagued by performance issues. Even at RTX 5090 can't deliver 60 frames, despite having 19 gig of VRAM usage. Developer working on a fix. That's quite the problem.
Performance issues, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the experience. PC launches are usually pretty ugly, but this one's been horrible. Everyone laughs at like there's a lot of glitches, and the game's just overpromised, under-delivered. That's the problem with a lot of games today is they release them just not finished and, just get it out there to get people to buy it, and everyone gets angry because it's not done. There's been some games that have turned it around. No, Cyberpunk turned it around. Cyberpunk's a great example.
Cyberpunk is awesome. The visuals in that are amazing.
It wasn't when it first came out, though. It had a lot of trouble. They released it too early, but they fixed it. Another example is No Man's Sky. That thing's came out rough, but they've been working on it for like 10 years, and it's pretty good now. But third-person action adventure Mind's Eye had a disastrous launch after many days. Complaints of performance issues despite having top-of-the-line equipment. One creator on X that they have an average frames per have in just 55 frames per second despite having an RTX 5090, which is absolutely insane. That'll run most games over 100 frames easy. So it's unfortunately very problematic, and people need to stop. They need to do better and not release these games as broken messes, because people don't forget, unfortunately. A lot of these game makers, forget that and just push stuff out, and the gaming industry is in a really, really rough spot, and I'm hoping it gets better, but
it is really weird. Like, I have a friend who is going to school to be a video game developer, and with the start of his college education, the market was booming, and now not so much. And now he's just kind of like, oh man, what am I doing?
At this point, you're honestly better just making your own indie game. And
well, he's actually done that.
Oh, okay.
And he made a full game for this band called Faderhead that we all listened to in the goth clubs back in the day. And they turned the band, actually, they're from Germany, caught wind of his video game. He sent it to them, and they turned it into a music video.
Well, yeah, if he ever wants to hop on and show anything, he's more than welcome to.
Trevor's awesome. Shout out to Trevor if he's watching.
Would definitely love to, or if he listens later,
Yeah.
That would be awesome. All right. Rod says, I wanted to hear your thoughts on the upcoming Xbox handheld. The upcoming Xbox handheld is pretty much the same thing as an ROG Ally, just with an Xbox button. It's really no different. It's overpriced. I mean, it's going to be powerful. It'll do decent, but like I said, I got a Steam Deck. I'm good with that.
Steam Deck is pretty sweet.
So yeah, exactly. The Steam Deck's pretty cool. It's a little underpowered. It's 3 years older. Then Switch 2's decent, but like I said, I'm not really sold on the Switch 2. So gaming handhelds are gonna go a lot farther. Steam Deck's gonna release another revision. You can get an ROG Ally. You don't need that Xbox thing, but Xbox is sticking towards the future. Xbox whole plan is Game Pass and getting their games on everything, and getting everyone on Game Pass. That's their whole MO. Great thing to bring up, Rod, though. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go over here. And Konami announces Metal Gear Delta will include a new multiplayer mode, but don't expect Metal Gear Online 4 because the landscape of multiplayer games has changed a lot. So Metal Gear, during the PlayStation 3, especially PlayStation 3 generation, many of the games came with multiplayer built in. Rod, I know you remember those days. Multiplayer used to be a package deal in single player games. Uncharted had a decent multiplayer. Metal Gear had a really fun one, but they expect a lot more now, so they're not going to do the same. But they're adding a bunch of modes. Hey, thanks for stopping by, 30. Yeah, I think I think it'll be a cool concept. It's a little expensive, but I love the PC handheld market. It's only going to get better from here. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with my Steam Deck, and if a game's too powerful for it, I set up my house with a mesh system, and I can stream from my gaming PC to my Steam Deck, even in my yard. So like I can play Cyberpunk at like 100 frames, at 1440p. It's streamed, but it still looks amazing. The industry is moving to a digital handheld, and you get a dock for it, and it's great. Like you can do anything you want with it. So I appreciate it, though. Thanks for stopping by. And the handhelds are only going to get better, and soon we won't even really need PCs. Everything's going to be streaming in the next probably like 10 years or so.
Oh, definitely.
So, but yeah, multiplayer is in a weird spot because it used to be a package in the game and a fun thing you do on the side. But now, games either come out single player or they're fully multiplayer. There's not really that hybrid anymore. And I think there's definitely a space for it, but a lot of companies are afraid to put the resources into it, especially with how many multiplayer games fail nowadays. Like we were talking, all those live service games that Sony's shut down, I think like 5 or 6 this year. And they've definitely, put a lot of money, a lot of investment into it. And it's really unfortunate because we had so many good single player games in the PS4. We had Uncharted 4, we had, Last of Us, we had the God of War series. There's just so many, and there's nothing that's sticking out this generation. This generation's very lackluster. So that's what I do hope, the Switch 2 does do well and bring good games to the table. But we haven't seen anything yet. So this generation's definitely been disappointing, but PC gaming's going really, really strong.
I'll always be a PC gamer at heart.
Oh, this is a fun one.
Okay.
Let me pull this up real quick.
Bring it on.
I'm very excited about this. I have a lot to say about this.
Go for it. You're the expert.
So this is at Konami's gaming show. Konami's been a little weak lately, but they came on strong with the Silent Hill 2 remake with Bloober Team. That was a pretty cool thing, but this is all they show, but they're remaking Silent Hill 1.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this. I remember the original.
So the original is pretty cool. It's what's that city in New York? Is it New York or is it Pennsylvania?
It's Pennsylvania. It's called Centralia.
Oh, Centralia, exactly.
Yep.
The state Senate just passed a bill that would drive businesses
get out of here, ad.
costing up.
We don't do politics on the stream.
Yeah, no, we don't need that here. So yeah, Silent Hill is one of my favorite horror series. I know and I get why they redid the second one, but the first one's the one that needed it the most. So it's going to be really cool to see what they do. It's got a good story. It's got to do with a cult. The city burnt to the ground and is still living in its past. So it's kind of a cool atmosphere. In the original game, the reason they made the fog was the PlayStation couldn't handle the draw distance they wanted. So they added the fog in to kind of make up. It's kind of cool how a lot of developers back then used to use,
They got really creative.
And yeah.
Made use of what they had.
They had limited hardware, but they made it work. So, I always appreciate the, interesting thoughts they had, and it kind of made games like Silent Hill is known for its fog and it only exists because of the hardware
that made a whole
limitation.
Mood. Everybody associates Silent Hill with the fog.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't be known for it. And there's a movie coming out this year. They're doing the games. They just need to bring back Castlevania. Come on, Konami, let's get Castlevania
Give
back.
them time.
It's been way too long.
I know. I'd love to see something like that. Being the goth nerd that I am.
All right. We'll bring this up in just a second. Gonna switch the scene here. Hold on, guys. All right. Now we're talking about Friday the 13th. Yesterday was Friday the 13th, so
I do love a good campfire with my beer.
we're here at the campfire.
Cheers.
We left the barcade, and now we're at the campfire to talk about the Jason Universe news, or the lack thereof, unfortunately. A couple of interesting tidbits, but nothing too exciting. So Jason Universe. So this is kind of dumb, but they like being very cheap. The owner of Jason Friday the 13th, New Line Cinema owns the rights to the name Friday the 13th, so they're calling it Jason Universe, which is kind of a dumb name, but that's what everything new about Jason's going to be called. So they're bringing it to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, in Hollywood. It's got a haunt, so they do these for a lot of the big horror. They did Halloween a couple years ago when a new trilogy was coming out, and they're doing one, of course, for Jason Universe. So it'd be cool to check out. So if you're in Orlando or if you're in Hollywood, go check it out. Just like we were in Vegas for a work conference, and they have a Saw escape room.
Oh, the Saw escape room was fun.
Yeah, the Saw escape room was like really, really cool. If you like escape rooms and you're ever in Vegas, highly, highly recommend the Saw one. But
do a private showing.
Yeah, do the extra. Otherwise, you're with a bunch of teenagers that'll just ruin it and not be good at doing combination locks. And that's a true story.
No, they were awful.
Yeah, it was not the best. If we brought Dez, we brought Dez. If it was just the three of us, we would have been good.
Yep. We were goners because there were what two or three other people that couldn't have been more than like 18, 19.
Yeah, something like
that. They
that.
definitely weren't old enough to drink.
Bringing Jason Voorhees Halloween Horror Night is an all original haunted house, which is a major moment for our fans and for us. It's a big franchise. This has been huge since the 80s. People love it. This will do really well. It'll be really cool. I haven't done a haunted house in a while, but there's some cool ones out there, definitely.
Did you want to talk about what you did last night for Friday the 13th?
We'll get to that.
Gonna get to that? Okay.
We're going to get through the news first here.
All right, cool.
Spoilers, Shannon. NECA and Jason Universe join forces for an upcoming collectibles. I mean, NECA makes the action figures for everything. From Godzilla, they've made every Friday the 13th movie. Any horror movie you think of, they've done Alien. You go to their site, they've done everything, and they're decent figures. They're a little pricey, but they're decent. 30, I know you out there. I know you're a big figure person. Problem about figures is keeping room for them all, but hopefully when I finish the barcade here, I'll put up some shelves and can fit.
There you go. I was wondering where you're going to put one more.
Yeah, see, I'm a big Gunpla builder, so a lot of my shelf space is taken up by Gunpla. So gotta get some of the horror and gaming figures, and I got a bunch of Godzilla ones. So we got to make some room here. So the show Crystal Lake, which is going to be the first thing really released by Jason Universe, it's adding 3 series regulars, including Cameron Scoggins as Dorf. They're trying to bring back a lot of legacy characters, bring eyes to the show. The show was going to be a prequel / sequel because a lot of movies were doing the requel thing, but now they're kind of doing all in on a prequel, which will be, about Pamela Voorhees, and they'll probably get to where Jason drowns or whatever, I'm sure, over the course of the show. I always thought it'd be interesting to do like a court drama where about when he initially drowned and what sends Pamela Voorhees over the edge.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if the show will go there, but all right. And Never Hike Alone had more interesting news, I think, than the actual Friday the 13th Twitter or X. But this is a trailer for Never Hike Alone, the final cut. Never Hike Alone is a fan film. It's one of the best fan films
It
ever
was
made.
really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot.
They made 2 of them.
I enjoyed both.
And they made a prequel and they made other. And this one's going to be like a movie with all of them in one. So I think this will be really cool. The director's really
I'm
talented.
excited.
And he also plays Jason. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, these guys are super creative.
Yeah, they are. Warning, I think this trailer does show some gore. It's not terrible, but there is some, so, yeah.
Not for the squeamish, but I don't think we know anybody that would watch us that's particularly squeamish.
Yeah, Rod's not a big horror guy, so I was mostly doing it for
okay.
him. Which is fine.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think I was pushed to my limits with Saw 10.
Saw 10 had,
It was brutal.
had some pretty brutal. But yeah, being this is a fan film, and I think Ghost Jason looks really good. And they brought back Tom Matthews, who plays Tommy Jarvis. The kid in the yellow jackets from Odyssey the Odd. They're big visual effects guys, and they do really good stuff. So their YouTube channel is really cool, but it's been quiet. But they work in movies, so it's cool seeing them.
I was hoping that they would make another one, so I'm excited.
It's got extra scenes, but it's pretty much just so. Rod, I understand. That's why I warned you, but the trailer is just about done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little graphic.
Yeah, exactly.
Oops. Sorry, Rod.
But what I appreciate about them is they do everything practically, which is you don't see anymore. Everything does CG. They do a little CG, but
It's done well, though.
yeah, it looks good.
Better than most Hollywood films.
And then this is a good callback to Jason Lives, because that's how it started with the James Bond thing.
Oh, yep.
Wait, I know this guy.
You do?
Yeah, he's a YouTuber.
For what?
This is pretty funny. It's throwing a little meta-ness, just like it's Scream.
People actually watch that?
You'd be surprised.
So that's fun. On top of that, though, they're doing a Never Hike Alone game, and this looks just like the NES game, which I played last Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so
That's
awesome.
cool. How did they do that and not get copyright infringement?
Because they're just releasing it for free. It's a fan game.
Oh, it's
so
just a fan game. Okay.
yeah, it's like they did a Ghost Jason version of
Okay, gotcha.
of the original NES game. Rod, you actually have this game. You got it, I think, from I forget who gave it to you, but someone gave you a bunch of NES titles, so you actually have the NES version of this. So it's a short little teaser trailer. I'll stream it once it comes out. It's coming out this year, though, so that's exciting. All right, that's for later. So we're going to come back here, back to the campfire, and I'm going to talk about what I did yesterday, and then we're going to talk about the first 3 Friday the 13th movies. Grabbing this because I made notes. So, yeah, yesterday for Friday the 13th in Schenectady is the, Rod said my child's friend from my neighborhood when he gave me his N64. So, funny enough, that game's made by Atlas, who makes a lot of the Persona games. They're owned by Sega now. Yes, right, childhood friend. Sorry, I just read it. I know you don't have any kids. But yesterday at the Via Aquarium in Schenectady, shout out to them too. It was a really cool event. They did a celebration of Friday the 13th, and they had a scavenger hunt and someone walking around as Jason. Oh, 30. Yeah. If you go back there, highly recommend the Saw escape room. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, in Vegas, absolutely. And they switch it up every so often too, don't they? I can't
believe
remember
so,
how
yeah.
often they do change the puzzles, but I want to say once every 6 months or
Just
something.
don't go
like that.
with a bunch of teenagers. That'll ruin it for you.
No. Book a private gig with you and a bunch of friends. It'll be a great time.
Let's see if I can do it like this.
And they did amazing work with the sets too.
So for you guys listening, I'm sorry. I'll try to explain these as well as possible, but these were the scavenger hunt items, which if you're a Friday the 13th fan, really great reference.
Well, I missed out on this, so I'm interested in the explanations.
So Pinehurst Youth Center, I think it's from the third one. I forget which. It's one of the first three, I believe. That was the name of the campground, and that's the sign from it, which is really cool. We ran into Jason in a cave, so this Jason was super tall, which is really cool. So they put the scavenger items all over the place. Like this was in one of the fish tanks. It's just got Jason Voorhees' grave. Really cool touch. I think this is the part 7 one. This is where he gets chained to a rock in part 6. So they had the little figure, and he was just in one of the aquariums hanging out. You saw a big version of it, just him there. This is up on the screen, which is really cool. The Necronomicon, which Necronomicon makes an appearance in Freddy vs. Jason. Oh yeah, 30.
Oh, nice. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, going by yourself
through Freddy vs. Jason. Sorry, go ahead.
Going to an escape room by yourself is a little difficult, but if you ever go there with a group, it's so much fun. And the Saw one's really, really great. They had the You're Doomed guy, Crazy Ralph. You know, he's a skeleton now, but he's still saying you're doomed. They were also playing Ice Nine Kills, the acoustic version of Thank God It's Friday, and
nice.
and
Nice
and
touch.
Jason's mom. So it was perfect. I was wearing my Ice Nine Kills Friday the 13th shirt, so the guy that was running it was like, "Oh, nice shirt." I just started getting into them, so I was just
Do
like,
they need a DJ for any of these other events?
they're going to do more adult. They also plan to do more adult themed events, so I plan to go to more. You know, depending on what the theme is. So, as another touch to Freddy vs. Jason, they had the Elm Street sign. Jason's machete was just, chilling there in one of the boxes. We found the mask from part 3. This is a reference to Sleepaway Camp. They had extra items if you're a horror. So it's called Camp Arawak. That's from Sleepaway Camp, which is an interesting movie, to say the least. The shears, they're from part 5, I believe. I think that's where they get used in an interesting way, we'll say. This is a hewing axe. It's a little bit smaller than it was in the movie, but it does some damage. And excuse me, this is the Jason X mask. This was just sitting in one of the ponds, which is really cool. I didn't upload the Pamela photo. They had.
Please tell me it was their floating dead head in one of the aquariums.
No, they had the. No, they had the.
Because that would have been cool.
Not the floating dead head. They had one of the. They had her head like on a pedestal with her sweater, just like in his house from part 2. So that's pretty cool. And he kind of like walked around where her head was at and kind of like protect. And then like they had a safe room, and he would kind of like stalk you into the safe room. So it was really cool. They said they're going to do it next Friday the 13th. So, if you're in the Friday the 13th and want to check it out, I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, we did it last minute, so you didn't get to go, but I plan to get in a big group next time. So,
Definitely, yeah.
So we're gonna talk about the first 3 Friday the 13th movies, and I've been talking a bunch. So do you want? Let's have you start off with the first one.
Well, I don't know. Like what I remember, like first time I saw the first one, I had a friend back in college. His name was Joe. Shout out to Joe in New York City. But whenever there wasn't a party going on or whatnot on the weekends in college, or it was too cold to go out, because I went to college up in a very snowy, cold part of New York State, we would stay in and watch horror films, classic horror. He was big on that. So we watched like the first 3 Friday the 13th movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, you name it. Over like a 12-pack of beer, and it was a great time. So, yeah, first one in particular, I always think of Joe and those nights that we had, hanging out, chilling. But yeah, the first one, I mean, so campy and cheesy, and low budget, but you have to love it. It was the 80s.
Yeah, well, Friday the 13th it's
a little slow.
45 years old.
Older than me.
It's surprising. There's not much that is. So the movies are made throughout the 80s. I think they missed 83 and like 87 or something, but they're pretty much made yearly because they're
Yeah.
cheap and they could just film them
cheap
in
and
the woods
easy.
and throw them out. My first experience with Friday the 13th is my older brother was a fan, but I also watched Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs. I don't know if you guys know. I met him and Darcy at Silver Scream Con a couple years ago, which was awesome because I grew up a big fan. His segments about Friday the 13th are still up on YouTube. I say they're worth watching. They're just fun little bits they did, and him explaining things about movies. He does The Last Drive-In on Shudder. It's the only reason I'm subscribed to Shudder because I have a lot of the movies, but I love The Last Drive-In. Definitely a fun watch. But, you know, I think what's so appealing about Jason Voorhees and the Friday the 13th movies is it's kind of like Godzilla, where you're kind of just, he's just this thing of destruction and you kind of just want to see what happens. It's like watching a train wreck, but they're all fun movies. They're
And
not,
the kids are kind of dumb too, so you're
yeah.
not really emotionally invested in any of the humans that
they're,
get slaughtered.
they're very trashy exploitation movies. And
Oh, especially when they were first starting out. Yeah,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean,
one scene in the first one. Yep. Like, okay.
these movies were very much, you know, panned by critics and, you know, they didn't do well money wise, but, you know, or I'm sorry, they were panned by critics, but they made so much money, you know, just still today, like horror does really well. Even if the movie's not the greatest, a horror movie's going to make its budget easily because the fans just keep coming and they have been for years. And I think this is a good Friday the 13th because we're starting the summer off. Friday the 13th is always like a summertime movie. Jason's a Jersey guy. We just came from Jersey, so
Oh yeah, we did.
you know, I think a couple of movies I think are pretty good, but I really think most of them are remembered for like certain specific moments in each one. You know, the first one was shot in Jersey. That's why I brought that up, and that's why I consider him a Jersey guy. And canon, it takes place somewhere in New Jersey, but also connects to Manhattan. So the logic of the Friday the 13th series is a little.
I have a couple friends who actually went to the actual Camp Crystal Lake, so that was kind of cool seeing their pictures.
Yeah, the original one was filmed. I forget where in Jersey, but they do tours of that campground.
Yeah, they
now.
do.
You know, that would be cool.
They're big on everything horror and the paranormal, and they actually have their own haunted bar and grill out in Wisconsin. That's also a hotel.
So yeah, the first one was shot in New Jersey. The second was Connecticut. The third one they moved to California, mostly a constructed cabin, but that's because they shot it all in 3D, so they had to do it for that. But
Yeah, I was just watching the third one again today, and yeah, some of those shots were weird because it was the first foray into 3D
yeah,
on the big screen. So
I have some stuff to say about that, but we'll jump into that. But
I was going to say we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
yeah, the original movie was heavily influenced by the original Halloween. You know, they kind of took the idea of Halloween, put them in the woods where you can't escape you're in his territory. Well, hers on that one, spoiler alert. But you know, where you can't escape what's chasing you and you're just out there alone with it. So it brings a little bit of dread and terror. They definitely borrowed a lot of ideas from like Dracula and Frankenstein movies as well. Just like Crazy Ralph is, they always had that guy saying like, don't go to the castle, you know, you're all doomed essentially. That guy, he was in those movies. So yeah, the first movie builds a good atmosphere. It's got some good kills. Tom Savini's there. He's a classic, you know, Dawn of the Dead. You can't go wrong with Tom Savini. The Kevin Bacon with the arrow through the neck's a classic scene in the first one. He did a great job, but the MPA constantly made them cut the movie down, or they would have rated it X and no one would have been able to see it. Which is unfortunate. Joe Bob talks about that in his segments. And this is a reoccurring thing. The 80s horror movies really got cut down, and it happened to all these Friday the 13th movies. They have some B-roll of it, but it's not finished, so you can't really see it. It doesn't look as good. So it's unfortunate we can never see the full effect, but Tom Savini, he's a legend. What can you say? And in the first one, the music was definitely inspired by Psycho. They did a lot of that
Oh yeah.
E,
Yep.
type music. But yeah, the first Friday the 13th, it's a very slow movie. So much so that
It's a slow burn.
I wouldn't even call it a slow burn. I just think it's like slow until
It doesn't. It
I
doesn't
mean,
really ramp up until
until
you have
the last chase is great, and we'll
Yeah.
get to that. But
Oh yeah, yeah. The ending, like had you on the edge of your seat, and
I mean, they have a part where Alice makes coffee, and it's like a minute and a half long.
of just her making coffee. Yeah, I want to know like what was the thinking behind that.
It's just filler, which I'll talk about in a second. Just trying to fill the time of the movie, so it's not under an hour.
Then they could have added another inventive kill.
Well, yeah, and I think what would have made it better is if they showed Miss Voorhees earlier. Like, she was the
Yeah.
cook, so like if they introduced her as a character that just seems like this nice lady
Yeah.
that snap later, because she comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh, this girl's gonna help.
She does. They didn't really build her character at all.
She just shows up, and it's just
Yeah.
like she's this crazy lady, but and she gets revealed as a killer. She's crazy, but she's got a decent motive. I mean, Jason doesn't really have much of a motive except he lives there. Her only motive is
Well, and she's kind of controlling of him.
yeah, even though he just hears her in her head, but
Yeah.
her motive is he drowned and she didn't want the camp to open up, so every time they tried to open it, she's massacred everyone there.
She also blamed the camp counselors for him drowning, so that's why she went on a bloody killing spree.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But yeah, that's why, like, in these movies, though, they should have introduced her way earlier and, shown her as just a normal person,
Yeah.
And they could have put that in, could have cut some other things like the coffee scene out. But Betsy Palmer hated the role, but she played it so well. She took the role to buy a car, I believe she said. So, hey, more
That's
power
funny.
to her. But she jumps from being nice to crazy really quickly, and she does really
it
good.
well.
The movie at the end has the kid version of Jason jump out of the lake and pull Alice under. The movie should have ended there, but it keeps going and shows that it was just a dream or an illusion or something.
Yeah.
It would have been far more interesting if the movie just cut to black there, but they kind of ruined the ending, and you get the happy ending. She survives, as happy as it can be, I guess.
I was going to say none of those endings are really happy, but
If you're an Ice Nine Kills fan, though, they do a great homage to it in their Thank God It's Friday video.
definitely highly recommend.
But yeah, for the first movie, bunch of filler, some good moments. Skip to the last 15 minutes if you don't really want to sit through it. I don't think it holds up as some of the other movies, but it started the franchise, so it definitely has its place.
It was definitely groundbreaking for the genre.
Then a year later, Friday the 13th Part 2 came out. Should have stayed in Jersey because, Jason is a Jersey guy, but they had a bigger budget and they went to Connecticut. Bigger budget, but it's very similar to the first. You get new...
It was kind of a snoozer, I thought. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's just like the beginning was just kind of boring. You don't care about these characters, but then it picks up at the end, just like the
Yep.
other one. But the main character, Ginny, I think, is a really good final girl.
She
She's
is
a
a
good
great
character.
final girl.
They
Definitely.
even take out Crazy Ralph. You don't get any more You're Doomed anymore.
Poor crazy Ralph.
But they build up I think a good scene, though, before is they build up his backstory more, where Paul, like, tells the campfire story. That just kind of, like, helps establish the lore and definitely builds it up.
Mm-hmm.
Rod says, your older brother is also a Bills fan. Thank God you stopped at the horror movies. Yeah, being a Bills fan would be painful.
Oh, don't tell my friend Katie that.
I'm a
Rabid
Chiefs
Bills
fan. Most people call me a front runner, but I've been a fan of them since 95. I was a fan when they had Montana and Marcus Allen, 94 technically. I have to ping you soon, Rod, and we'll have to talk about that Kreider trade. New Jersey as a state is perfect setting to any and all horror movies. I couldn't agree more.
Well, honestly, where
except
we were in Jersey was kind of nice. I'm just like, wait a minute, this is Jersey?
Yeah, we were in Montclair, Jersey. It
Montclair's
was beautiful.
a nice,
it
like,
was beautiful. We
upper
had
class city.
great restaurants. The houses were
Great restaurants. Yeah.
expensive.
The Airbnb was nice, clean. Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally go back there. And in the
Great
theater,
bars.
the theater was good. And bars are important,
Yes.
especially to us, the beer part of our show. In Montclair, Rad said my uncle used to live there. So
Okay.
Montclair, yeah, it's beautiful. So good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, nice place. I thought, like, okay, I didn't know what it was going to be like after dark. So I'm like, okay, we better be halfway, have eyes in the back of our head type of a deal. But it was nice. Nice, quiet.
But back to the movie, uh, a lot of tropes were established here, with the characters. Like you have the jock, you have the dumb pretty girl, you have it all here. The nerd. They definitely established the tropes, and like the car won't start. All the classics are here. But yeah, the final chase is good. It's not as good as the first one. But Jason's kind of like tiny. He's wearing a sack, which is kind of a cool touch, but he's like smaller. The guy they had, he's not as big as he would be in
He
later.
wasn't very intimidating.
No, it's like slapsticky. Like she
Yeah.
kind of beats him up a bit.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
But they show his house. He's living like a hermit, which is a good touch, and he's just got his mom's decapitated head sitting there, like very, very much Psycho influence.
Oh, very much so. What any doting, loving son would do.
And they also introduced the idea of wearing a sweater to distract him. Friday the 13th, the game used this to take Jason out. In the video game, the group of you would have to knock his mask off, distract him with a sweater, and then Tommy's the only one that can take him out for good. It's not easy to do, but it's fun when you get good at it. And if you do it in the game, unfortunately that game is gone, but hopefully they'll bring it back. Hey, what's up, Topher? Topher says, hey, how's it going? Me
Hey,
and Kate
Topher.
are listening to the podcast with tidying up and stuff. Hey, thanks for listening. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully you're enjoying it. This is episode 2, so we're figuring it out, but we're having a good time here. So, Rod says, coincidentally, today is my uncle's 79th birthday and the 31st anniversary of the Rangers' last Cup victory. Well, at least you can say you had a Cup victory. I don't know what that is yet. We are drinking Julius from Treehouse Brewery. And the D20 glass is good. I gave her the crit one. I also have a D1, which is the fail glass. I trying to bring good karma here. We don't want to bring the fail glass.
Nerd. But yes, cheers to good karma.
So yeah, with that, we'll talk about the third and final movie we're going to talk about. And we're going to probably do 3 more the next Friday the 13th, which won't be till next year. And then rank the movies, I think, will be the plan. So the
Sounds
third
good to
one
me.
is Friday the 13th 3D because it's the 80s and 3D was getting big then. And of course they had to do it. So not watching in 3D is a little frustrating because it's just people just throwing stuff at the screen constantly for no
The
reason.
yo-yo scene.
And then like, it would have been cool in 3D, but like where he shoots the girl with the crossbow.
Oh, that too, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the 3D effects work as good today, but you could do the old red and blue 3D glasses, but they don't work as well. This needs to be remade for like newer 3D technology with like
yeah,
a Blu-ray or something.
they should like update it and make like,
They introduced more cliche characters like Shelly's the prankster. The funny thing though is the guy that plays Shelly in the third one. Do you remember that character? He's got kind of
yeah, the dude with the curly hair who
the prankster that gives him the mask. Yeah. He's a copyright lawyer now. He actually does a lot of stuff with Slash and Cast talking about
that's funny.
the Friday the 13th lawsuit. So he's a pretty smart guy. He's a great source of info about the ongoing lawsuits. But yeah, he gives Jason his mask and, him on the dock where he shoots the girls the first time you see the Jason we all know with the hockey mask. And
Very
that's
iconic scene, and Jason has great aim. Right in the eye.
Yeah.
Right in the eye.
So I think the third one's more entertaining than the other ones.
I think so too. Of the first three, rewatching them all back to back, like that was definitely the most engaging one for me.
30, I know who you are. I just haven't said your name just because I don't know if you care or not. So I'm going to call you 30. Everyone else I know doesn't care. So congrats. I grabbed a booster box and hey, what's going on, Amy? Thanks for stopping in.
Oh, thanks, Amy. Hey.
Serge Foyle and full art Seth Roth is awesome. I got the full art Knights of the Round and Bahamut. So I think those are my best pulls from the booster pack. So hopefully you get some other good stuff. I might grab another booster box, but this, like you said, this set's very expensive. So yeah, like I was saying, I think this one's more entertaining than the other two. I like Ginny, the main character of the second one, probably better than the main character of the third. But I really like, I think this one's just more entertaining with the kills, and they upped everything up. Okay, good to know. Just want to check because some people care. So anyway, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I know. That's what I said. I know you're Chuck. That's why I mentioned the because I know you went to the Magic and you mentioned how expensive they were. So Amy, Treehouse Brewery is great. If you're ever in Saratoga, highly recommend it.
Great place.
Chuck, yeah, if I'm planning to do a draft night. I don't know if you want to come by, but I got a few friends that want to do a draft with I'm gonna grab a booster box and try to do it. Rod says Casey Jones kicks Jason's ass every time. Turtle power. Hockey mask versus hockey mask. It depends on the version of Jason, I'd say, because some of the Jasons are pretty OP. But hey, Casey Jones pretty awesome. In the new Turtles game, I think Casey Jones usually my go-to. But yeah, Friday the 13th Part 3 had a bigger budget, better scenes, some good moments, some good kills. Like when the guys, I don't know why he's doing it, but he's doing a handstand.
I guess, and not even to impress her 'cause she's in the shower.
Yeah, she's in the shower and he's just walking down the hallway in a handstand and he just gets split down the middle. It's so great. And
Very inventive kill, though.
So what's funny about this is interesting. The third one takes place the day after the second one. So technically it's Saturday the 14th, which is when we're doing our podcast.
Yeah.
So
Very timely.
nope. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the way. Well, if Topher comes back, he doesn't know what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because over there they call them the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
They do? I didn't know that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny. But yeah, it's the following day, and the main girl remembers being attacked by Jason like years earlier. She's got like some PTSD from him, and then when he takes his mask off, it comes back. Again, I think they're borrowing from the early Frankenstein movies. A lot of these really borrowed from
the
the
visuals, absolutely.
the golden Friday the 13th Part 6, especially the opening scene. But yeah, they borrow from Frankenstein with Jason a whole bunch. So if you're a Frankenstein fan, you know, you'll find something you like here. But I kind of think it's interesting how in every Friday the 13th movie, Jason looks very much different.
Well, he's supposed to be kind of supernatural, so I guess like that's how they.
But
can
he's
justify
technically
it.
not supernatural.
Technically not, but he is.
Well,
'cause
not till
he's
like
risen
after
from
the
dead.
sixth one, because he doesn't get
Oh,
revived till the sixth one. So
Okay.
he's technically still alive. Because apparently he didn't drown and just lived. I don't know. The lore is very convoluted and confusing, but I think the reason he looks different is people's interpretation of him. Like, you know, it's a traumatic experience, so they're just kind of like.
That's a good way to look at it.
That's just kind of how I look at it. But I like how they do that differently. Like, you know, like I love Halloween. I mean, I probably prefer the Halloween franchise overall because I think Michael Myers, especially the first Halloween's one of my favorite horror movies ever. John Carpenter's the thing's by far my favorite, but Halloween is definitely up there too. But
I can't
Michael's,
believe I got my dad to sit down and watch The Thing with me. That was a bonding moment.
Michael always looks the same. They modified him a little bit in the new trilogy, but he's always very similar.
Yeah.
I think I like how like Jason just like looks like very different in a lot of these, especially the first like 9-10 10. Yeah, probably I'd say the first 10 he looks vastly different, which is great. So again, the chase at the end of this one's good, but he gets beaten up by her, and like she's going after him, I think, with the machete, and he's like,
she got a couple good blows into him, and he just keeps
like backing up. It's like, oh, what? You're afraid of it? So he seems a little less intimidating there. But
it was just her girl power.
When he takes his mask off and kind of like sneers at her, I think it's really good.
Because that's when she kind of.
I think they're kind of going for like a Nosferatu look with that.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, he kind of had
I
like
could see that.
like vampire ears again, drawn from that golden age. But Nosferatu, the remake with Skarsgård is supposed to be really, really good.
I still have not watched.
I didn't get to catch that yet
because it came out. It had to come out on Christmas Day.
So who's
available to see a movie on Christmas Day?
The third movie is supposed to be the last in a trilogy, but did so well. So of course they did a fourth, which they call the final chapter. But we all know that was not the final chapter. Horror movies love jumping the gun on that. But how would you rank the first three? We're gonna do a full ranking later, but rank the first three.
3, 1, and 2.
I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So I think 1's the best at the chase, but
1 only because like that was just like kind of groundbreaking. So
yeah, I respect it. How many actors thought, oh my God, I'm about to get killed by Captain Kirk? He's talking about the in Halloween because they used it. Hey, good call, Rod. Rod says, I wonder how many actors thought, oh my God, I'm about to be killed by Captain Kirk. It's so funny that they just painted his face white. They I figured out it's from another movie they used that face sculpt from now. Someone showed the scene. I forget what it was. I actually watched one Jason movie. Care to guess which one? What Jason movie would you have watched? I don't know. He didn't make one. They didn't do like an Ash versus Evil Dead one. I don't know. Rod, you have to tell me. I'm very curious.
Do we have one more in there?
Yep, of course.
All right. You mind reaching? You have
There you
longer
go.
arms than I do. Thank you very much.
And I'll pull up the next thing.
All right.
So now we're moving on to the next part where so when they announced Godzilla X Kong Supernova, it's being that it's a space reference, everyone's been thinking of course it's gonna be Space Godzilla, but one of the actors posted a picture of Space Godzilla, so they're really not just like teasing it, it's almost all but confirmed, which the original was it the one in space, Jason X? Who think Roddenberry's Andromeda. So I don't know the reference. I'm just thinking him in space.
I'm kind of familiar with Andromeda a little bit.
She would know better than I would.
But
that's why I brought her along, because she's like 20 years older than me.
Oh, stop it. 8.
But Matthew Modine
Second
tried
of
to be
ourselves.
the Tom Holland of the Monsterverse and just straight up spoiling stuff. So yeah, he's posting stuff about Space Godzilla. It's we know Supernova is going to have some version of. Oh, he said that's right. Okay,
It's gonna be like Star Wars in space with Godzilla.
well, no. In '94, there's Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. His DNA gets out
okay.
in space, and this creature
God.
creates.
Okay.
He fights Biolante. Biolante gets him his DNA, ends up in space, and Space Godzilla gets created. And it's just like a icicle space version of Godzilla. It's actually kind of, the movie's not great, but it's kind of awesome looking. It was originally a design for Godzilla to transform into, but they didn't follow through. Thanks, Rod. I kind of figured. It's not an amazing movie, but Jason X is a fun time. It's ridiculous. Is the last one where Kane Hodder, who's the best known Jason, played him. Kane Hodder's going to be at Silver Scream Con, so we're going to be able to meet him this year, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that should be cool. He seems like a cool character. I've seen him on a couple podcasts.
He is 70 now, but he looks great.
He looks great for his age. I would never guess he's that old, but I mean, you do the math.
Yeah. Careful those. Rod says, "Careful with those older than you jokes, young man. Gotta do it while I still can before
Just wait till he hits 40. He's never going to hear the end of it.
Don't mind the Crypt Keeper next to me.
You're only saying that because I can't kill you on camera.
I know. I'm safe for now. And Supernova Theory reveals a classic kaiju who debuted decades before Space Godzilla is joining the MonsterVerse. Let's see. Actually, I'm just going to pull this over. I'm going to put this back
Looks
into
damn good for the Crypt Keeper, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, you're for that new version of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of indications that Space Godzilla will be the primary antagonist of Godzilla X Kong Supernova. That's actually the case, and the door will be open for one of Toei's oldest monsters to join him in the legendary MonsterVerse. Ever since the new movie title was revealed, the popular theory has been that space-related subtitle points to Space Godzilla, making his grand entrance into the cinematic universe that combined the Godzilla Kong franchise. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but Space Godzilla's origins certainly aligned with the word supernova, giving many fans confidence in this immediate arrival. If Space Godzilla joins the MonsterVerse, chances are will be that major departures from the story for his appearance, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, while certain elements like his trademark black hole origin and crystalline geokinetic powers will certainly carry over. It seems lucky that Hollow Earth will need to play a role in Supernova. However, there is one major element from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla that absolutely needs to accompany Space Godzilla in the MonsterVerse, and it's another monster that's nearly as old as Godzilla himself. And of course, they're talking about Magura. Yeah, definitely, Rod, 100%. I think it'd be cool if they bring back Magura, but I think Space Godzilla would be cool, but I honestly want to see him do Gigan. I think a new version of Gigan would be cool. I mean, he's like a giant crab monster with a buzzsaw on his chest. It's kind of cool. Let's see what. So I don't know if you've really watched the Godzilla vs. Kong movies, but you loved Godzilla -1.
I loved Godzilla -1. That was
Minus
such a
one
well
is
done film.
One of the best Godzilla movies out there. So.
I've seen -1 and I've seen the original like forever and a day ago.
The original's a classic, but you got to watch the Japanese cut. The Japanese one's way better than the Americanized one.
No, I think I did see the Japanese one. That was another, monster horror themed movie night.
So
with
yeah,
my friends. Less
announcements and things to talk about this week. So we're already to our last segment, last call, but we're right about at an hour. So, if you guys got any comments or questions, and do you have anything cool to talk about, Shannon? I could probably think of a few things.
I was gonna ask our viewers, what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
Yeah, throw out your favorite Friday the 13th.
Out of the first three, like which ones do you? Out of the first three, which one did you like the best?
Oh, and here we go. Topher says, me and Kate are going to watch The Black Phone today. I know it's not about Godzilla, but what do you think of that? Hey, anything movie, gaming related, welcome. Topher, we were talking about Silent Hill remake earlier, so
yeah.
You must have missed that. But Black Phone's good. It's not great, but Ethan Hawke is amazing in it. And
I still need to watch that one because I know there's another movie coming out soon.
I don't want to spoil anything, but did you see the trailer for the second one? I won't say anything unless you did. So, Rat says, aren't your puppies going at any more entertaining than Godzilla versus anything? Dude, I have 3 of them now. They're just insane.
They're multiplying.
Oh, okay, awesome, Topher. I mean, the Silent Hill teaser was very short. You heard the music. I think Bluebird will do a great job, especially with everything they learned from the second one. And I hope they do 2 and 3, get the trilogy remade. And I think they could do a lot with the third one too, because it's a sequel to the first one. Oh, I know. You must be very excited about it. Also tell Kate I said hi, or hi Kate, if
hi,
you can
Kate.
hear. Oh, I didn't ask earlier. Do we sound good, right? I assume we do because the levels look good, but
I think we're okay now.
Kate said hi guys and wave. Ha ha ha. Thank you. Well, I hope so. I spent way too much money on sound equipment.
Cheers, Kate. We'll have to hang out again soon.
Cheers to both of you. But yeah, if you guys want to give your thoughts about, your favorite Friday the 13th movie, or, what you thought of the first three, or any movies you guys are looking forward to, that'd be cool. But Black Phone 2 is going to be awesome. The trailer was really cool.
I was
That
gonna
mask
say
is awesome.
The movie I'm looking forward to is 28 years later.
Yeah, that's in a week or two.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool.
I'm pumped.
The Malta Theater is showing that movie with another movie, and they're having people dressed up as zombies out in the field.
Oh, cool.
I'm thinking about, I'm going to see it the Thursday before, but I might go see it again just to do that.
We might have to go see it again and like dress up or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Topher, that's your neck of the woods. So did they film the first one out there too, or just the new one? I remember you told me they were filming the new one there.
That's right.
Don't tell Shannon. She'll go and chase down what.
Oh wait, Killian isn't in this first one.
I think he's gonna make a
Apparently.
cameo. I think they'll show him.
I think maybe at the end, but he's supposed to have a bigger presence in 2 and 3.
Rod says Mortal Kombat 2 right after my birthday. I'm hoping it's a lot better than the first movie. I didn't love the first new movie. Wasn't as fun as the 95 version. I know the 95 one subjectively is not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
It's campy and it's got a hell of a soundtrack.
You can't beat that. So, but I think the second one will be interesting because they're bringing Johnny Cage and more of the characters. I thought Scorpion and Sub-Zero looked cool, but I didn't really care for the main character in the new one. Those were $500 glasses, asshole. It's such a classic movie. It's unfortunate the 95 one that the other sequel sucked too. I don't know why Mortal Kombat should
Annihilation
be.
was pretty bad, but again, that had a decent soundtrack to it. I still have it somewhere.
I don't get
on
why
CD.
Mortal Kombat's such an easy movie to get right. How do you fuck it up? Pardon my French, I guess. I guess I'll mark this one as explicit language. We didn't do that last time, so.
Well, we might want to do that from now on.
Yeah,
because
probably. Probably. It's all right.
I tried to keep it PG-13 last
We'll
time.
never be monetized anyway, so. Cole is less than it. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people liked him as a character, but if they bring in more Outer World stuff, and there's a lot of really cool things you could do. I haven't played Mortal Kombat 1 yet, but I really want to, because I love the series, but I kind of just wait. The animated ones are really good, though. I forget the Scorpion one, but that was a pretty good movie. They had a show back in like the 90s or 2000s too, but I don't remember how good it was. The commercials were awesome too. Like, Rod, you and I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd episode of the old commercials, and they had all the kids running out in the street just yelling Mortal Kombat.
Oh, wait, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Remember those ads now. Yep.
So much fun. But yeah, it's summertime. There's some good movies. We talked about Ballerina a couple weeks ago. That was fun. That was a good action one. This week was How to Train Your Dragon, which, it's very similar to the animated one. So if you've seen the animated, you're better off watching that. Think of the animated as the theatrical cut and the live action as the extended version.
Ballerina was better than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Mainly because Keanu was in it more than I thought he would be. I know,
Well,
like
how you
everybody
gonna
else
have-
probably, what's the actress's name? She probably enjoyed Ana de Armas, I think her name is, and she was actually really good as a spy.
You can't
have
Keanu just in a movie for 2 minutes. What are you doing? You're doing your movie wrong if that's what you're doing.
Keanu's golden. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's so funny. I guess how he started versus where he came from, or where he's gone.
Who knew that Mr. Bill and Ted would be like this great big action movie star?
Yeah, Matrix, Speed.
Speed, yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis started off as I think he was in.
He was
right?
in like almost like a soap opera.
Yeah,
kind of
he was like in
deal.
soap opera. Well,
it was called Moonlighting, I think, if I remember right, in like the early '80s.
Topher said Ana de Armas. Never heard of her.
She was in No Time to Die.
Yeah, she's
last James Bond film.
Yeah, she's really good in that. She's from that. Keanu was in SpongeBob for just a minute. That's a good point, Chuck. He was only in for a minute. They should have done more Keanu though, but any Keanu is always good.
Always room for more Keanu.
She knew his stunt double for a bit.
Oh yeah, I know. My college roommate is married to Keanu Reeves' stunt double from the original John Wick movie.
Topher says, haha, I'm kidding. I love her. She's awesome. He's just trying to save face in front of Kate because he's
come
like
on.
secretly loves her. It's fine. We all do. I get it.
Hey, she's cute. I get the appeal.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? So we talked about it last week. Ballerina was cool. How to Train Your Dragon, if you like the animated, I think it's worth watching. Just not as good. I gotta watch the other. I've only watched the first one with Corinne, so I gotta watch the other two. But everyone says it's a good series, so I think there's 3 of them.
I haven't seen any of them.
Do you know what movie's coming up this week?
No clue.
Movie loading, guys. It's not 28 days later yet, right?
28 days later is next week, I think. Yeah, June 20 something.
So we got like 2 weeks. There's got to be something next week.
I think there is. I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I haven't looked lately.
I'll know in just a moment.
How's everybody doing this evening? Doing anything fun? Drinking anything cool?
Let's see. Next week. No, next week's 28 years later. It's next
it
week.
is next
It's
week.
next
Oh my
week.
God, that came up way too quick. Okay.
Yep.
I'm psyched.
I'm gonna have to
Hoping my boy makes a cameo.
And then the week after that's Megan 2.0, which I'm not as excited
okay,
about.
Megan, that was the other one.
I haven't watched the first Megan, so I gotta watch that.
Oh my God, I watched it with my drunk hippie friends from upstate that I go and visit once or twice a year, and we just had a great laugh for an hour and a half over that movie. It was so over the top and
I hear
silly.
some people, like, if you don't think about it too much, appreciate Megan. Megan 2 kind of reminds me of T2, where it's like she's the good robot fighting the bad one. So, I mean, it's not going to be as good as Terminator 2, but hey,
Well, some of the one-liners you saw in the trailer, it's going to be, go in there with a couple beers and.
Topher says Ralph, I don't know, Fiennes?
Ray Fiennes? I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Okay. I don't know who he is.
No, he has a big role in 28 years later.
He looks huge in 28 years later. Swoldemort. See, I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, so that's why
I'm not a big Harry Potter person either. It just was so overhyped at the time that it was big.
Sorry,
that I tend to just rebel normally.
Sorry for Harry Potter fans out there.
Yeah, nothing personal.
But when Harry Potter came out, my dad's like, "That's lame. Here's Lord of the Rings. Go read that," and called it a day.
I was more of a Lord of the Rings girl too. Never read the books, but the movies were awesome, even though they were like 3 hours long.
Well, I mean, Rod, they did shoot it there, so maybe. But
yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, like Cillian Murphy's like my favorite actor, and I always joke around that he's my future ex-husband because you can't say no to those baby blue eyes.
There you go. I thought he was good in A Quiet Place too. He was a good character.
Yeah, he was. Really good.
I can't believe the first one was 28 years ago. There, I remember when that movie came out.
Yeah. Oh, he had such a baby face.
The beginning of that movie is really cool. How just no one's around and he just wakes up. Walking Dead kind of did that idea.
Well, yeah, Walking Dead totally stole that idea, which is why I guess I never really got into Walking Dead.
Well, the Walking Dead comics, like, really.
First
really
season
good.
was all right, but then I just kind of lost interest after that.
Chuck, Bring Her Back was very good. I had a really good time. She didn't like it as much. We talked about that last week, but I thought Bring Her Back was. I think it had good moments.
I could appreciate it from an artistic standpoint with like the visuals and the camera angles, but just Ooh, it was heavy.
I like
It was
Talk to Me. Well,
really
that's the way
heavy.
horror, like we talked last week.
It was more psychological horror too, as well as body horror and
horror is
yeah.
very much a trauma based thing now. Rod, it's all right. Bad grammar's fine. That's what autocorrect makes it even worse. So it's great. But yeah, I enjoy Talk to Me. I appreciate their YouTubers. I like talented.
They're definitely really talented. I mean, some of their camera angles were really kind of cool, and the visuals and just like the setting and the tone of the film was very dark and very noir. And the baddie in that she did an amazing job.
And Topher, I love the first two Quiet Places. I thought the third one was decent. A lot of people hated it. I thought it was okay.
It was okay. I'm just glad the cat lived. Spoiler alert.
Well, just like Joe Bob says, you can't kill the dog. People get upset.
Well,
You kill all the people, just not the dog.
Yeah. People suck.
I enjoy. Sorry, your chat's a little cut off, so I'm gonna try to fix this here. Oh, I gotta move this over, I think.
Oh, and then there you go.
I am enjoying I don't know. I've had no interest in that series ever. Chuck says I like psych horror over jump horror. I'm kind of with you. A lot of horror movies like to overdo jump scares. I like the psychological aspects. I have a lot of fun. I mean, when it comes to slashers, that's why I like Scream. I love the meta-ness. I love the psychology to it, and I love how it doesn't
good.
take
I
it
enjoyed
serious.
Scream.
I mean, I think all the Scream, even the third one, I think they're all great.
Well, Scream was a little bit of, like you had the whole meta aspect and it was very tongue in cheek. There was still a lighthearted component to that. With Bring Her Back, there was nothing lighthearted about that film at all.
Hey Rod, I'm doing restream, so we're streaming to Twitch too. In the future, I'll put the chat on the screen so you can see everyone's. I apologize. On my other setup, I got it that way. I forgot. But
We're still a work in progress.
People on Twitch and Facebook are separate, so I try to read every chat just so everyone knows what everyone's saying. Also, we release this on podcast platforms, so if you want to download the podcast form, you can listen to us there. And I try to read the questions so people listening to the podcast can know what I'm talking about or replying to. So, but you and Chuck are the only two YouTubers. Yeah, Topher, I am on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcast. I'm on all of it. So, it's called the Beer.Gaming.Movies show. Download us, push us. Let's go. Let's build this. We're only on episode 2, but we want to get more people in. We love having people on the live, but download it, support us, help out.
If we get more people in your neck of the world like tuning into us, I know that there's a time difference, but
yeah, we're learning, we're growing, but we're having fun, and I just write down stuff that interests me through the week and we talk about it. So, anything gaming, movie, tech related, sometimes music. Do you have it? Since we're getting towards the end here, do you have any music things you want to talk about, or?
Well, just revisiting the Friday the 13th franchise. I have had Alice Cooper's "He's Back," the man behind the mask, stuck in my head all day long. So thank you for that.
We can't play any of that though because
copyright.
So
it would have been cool to like kind of put that in the background.
Yeah, that's why every show.
Unfortunately,
I just play retro gaming music because they can't copyright that because it's in every video.
Anybody who doesn't know me, like I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan. Love him. I've seen him like 6 or 7 times. He's absolutely phenomenal live. 72, still kicking, still going strong. Actually, maybe 73. I can't remember, but yeah. I've seen him on every tour for the past like 12 years or so.
Yeah, well, it's just like me, Silverstein. I'm going to see him 3 times this year, which is crazy.
That was another thing I was going to bring up. Silverstein has a new collaboration coming out with
Dayseeker. Coming out the 19th, so I'm excited to see that song.
Yeah.
They toured with Dayseeker, I think, a year or 2 ago.
I think I have to look it up in my concert journal because I'm that music geek who writes down all of her concert experiences, old school style. I should really kind of turn that into a blog or something one of these days. But yeah, I've been really into Dayseeker, and their latest single, I think it's called Pale Moonlight. It's a whole mood. It's awesome. Really getting into their stuff. So really interesting to hear their collab.
Yeah, I mean, this week I've mostly been, I went through the Census Fails albums. They're always a good one to go back to. Also, I listened to Shogunai, which is always a good time by Anchor.
Anchor, they're an awesome band.
They're from your neck of the woods there, Topher. They're fun. They've never come over here. I'm hoping they do one day, but yeah, we're hitting 120. I mean, I aim for an hour and a half each show, so I think we're gonna probably wrap it up here. But they're called Anchor, Ankor.
Yep.
Female fronted metal band, really good. I discovered them because YouTube algorithm. If you find new music, YouTube, their algorithm is insane.
I can't even tell you how many times I have fallen down the YouTube rabbit hole and found something cool there that I put into my DJ sets.
Topher, I'll message you some of their stuff over later. See if you're into it. Before we go, that's another thing I want to mention too. We talked a lot about Friday the 13th because yesterday was Friday the 13th. And, you know, I did.
Jason's actual birthday, yeah.
Is Jason's actual birthday is the 45th anniversary of the movie. It's unfortunate there's not really any Jason news, but Ice Nine Kills went to, I believe, the shooting for the sixth movie, Jason Lives.
Yeah, I saw that.
Spoiler for our tier list, that is my favorite. Jason Lives is awesome.
What year did that one come out?
Chuck, you're the man. I really appreciate that. It really helps. And like I said, Chuck, if you, I plan to bring back Magic Nights. I'll message you outside of here, but would love if you come around, or, you know, like I said, come over, have some beers. You know, gotta get you and Rod over. I got the arcade cabinet coming soon. It's right over there. I just need to get the artwork there, but it's almost done. It's going to be a full cabinet. It's going to have arcade controls. It's going to have the light guns. It's going to have every game you want. It's going to be awesome. I'm building a barcade down here, so we don't have to go anywhere. That's the plan. That'll be our backdrop eventually. I got the green screen right now, but eventually it's going to be the actual bar.
I'm kind of digging the campfire, though. It's
maybe this is what we'll do for the summer. I don't know. The other time we did the earlier we did the PS3 Final Fantasy 7 one, but...
Well, this kind of set the mood a little bit since we're talking everything Friday the 13th and, you know, Jason stalking silly people in the woods.
Yeah, Topher, I'll give you an update. I mean, there's not much of an update, but we're working on it. We got half of the basement finished, so we just have to do this end. I'm going to buy a bar. I'm probably get a dartboard. Probably going to get probably a pool table if I can fit it.
Where are you going to put a pool table?
Well, we're going to rearrange stuff. So thank you for that, Rod, as well. Yeah.
I was going to say you could find some good, like, kind of bars either on wheels or kind of like little tiny corner bars on Facebook Marketplace, because I always look constantly for my future house.
Oh, yeah. Facebook Marketplace.
Because I am totally getting a space where I can finish a basement and I'm going to turn it into a quaint old English pub. That is my goal.
Yeah. That'll be awesome. And like I said, the barcade's gonna be a good hangout spot. I'm gonna have a good selection of beer. I want to get a vending machine where you just like I can have like 8 different beers and you just hit a button.
Well, you know what? If you do the claw machine, but for beer.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. I'm very good at claw machines, but
he always has to play the claw machine every time we all go to the movies together.
I win something pretty much every time. So yeah, I think we'll. Topher said English pub basement, nice. Yeah, pretty much. Hey, I'll have some English beers. We'll go crazy with some German beers. If you make it back to the States, though, Topher, you're more than welcome to the barcade. We'll have it ready by then.
I'll have to bring some good old black country ale the next time I go over.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wrap up here, unless anyone's got anything else. But feel free to plug yourself, and I'll just...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hi, I'm Shannon, and I'm a DJ. So if you need DJ services for your private or promotional event, I'm your gal. You could find me at J3 Media on Facebook and all the socials, or j3-media.net is my website.
Perfect. And, this has been the Beer Gaming Movies podcast, BGM show for short. Well, Beer Gaming Movies show, BGM show for short. We're on all podcast platforms, but we're going to be here every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. We also do Facebook and Kick. though no one watches this on Facebook or Kick except for Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy, for hanging out.
We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. We'll have to get together soon.
Gotta come join us in the barcade sometime.
Outside of that, TE Media, where this is on YouTube, I do a lot of retro gaming videos like Retrograde, where I look at old games, I review it, run through it, play it, some gameplay. They're short, 5 to 10 minutes. I have a lot of fun doing that. I also do a weekly movie review, either to YouTube Shorts. Sometimes I do a longer review, depending on the movie. So definitely subscribe, check those out. Come here for this show. I also own a tech company called Thor Tech Tips. So if you have any tech issues or
have any computer problems, he's your man.
I do it all. And check out the podcast, download it. I'm going to create an email. It'll probably be bgmshow@temedia.com. I'll post it when it's official, but email us with any movies we should see
or any kind of theme suggestions or anything
beer
you want us to talk
we should
about.
Drink or any suggestions. So.
Beer suggestions always welcome.
And also leave it in the comments. We always check them out and share it with your friends. Come hang out. We're trying to build a good community here, and we just want to have fun. And I love beer, gaming, and movies are 3 of my favorite things. And
EM also stands for music, which is why I'm here. So
yeah. I dragged a DJ because no one else wanted to talk about movies. So,
I know a thing or two about movies, and music and movies kind of coincide.
We have a lot of cemeteries with mausoleums, and that's where I pulled her out of. So
yeah,
she was playing music in there, and I was just like, yeah, I kind of need that. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's great chatting with you all. I'll talk to you all soon. We'll see you in the next one. Thor out.
Bye, guys.